Hi. What else we need to know for successful hypothesis testing? As we mentioned earlier, central limit theorem will allow us to conduct successfully z-test or t-test regardless whether population is normal or not, the underlying population. If we collect substantial amount of samples from the population and the cutoff value is 30, then we could ignore the fact whether the underlying population normal or not. The central limit theorem will make the distribution of sample mean normal, and therefore the properties of normal distribution could be utilized. And again, if depending what information we know about the underlying population, we could utilize either z-test or t-test. Z-test when we know population mean and population standard deviation, and t-test when we don't know population standard deviation. Let's talk about type 1 and type 2 error. Certainly, when someone utilizes a limited number of samples, there are some error associated with making decisions, and those errors for hypothesis testing are called type 1 and type 2 error. Type 1 error is associated with the fact that sometimes we reject null hypothesis when it's indeed true, and another type of error that sometimes we fail to reject null hypothesis when indeed null hypothesis is false. How we practically deal with the type 1 and type 2 error? If you read the text, you could easily associate type 1 error with the significance level. And basically, I would like to give some explanation of what significance level of the test are, and how they are important, the selection of the significance level for successful hypothesis testing. Again, let us imagine either population is normal or central limit theorem works. Therefore, the sampling distribution of the sample averages is normally distributed. Then we select certain amount of the samples from the population. We calculate the test statistic, and if it falls substantially close to the sample mean, we have a good reason to assume that the hypothesized parameter is true. When the test statistics falls outside of very far away from the sampling mean, then we have a good reason to say that hypothesized parameter is not true. Therefore, it becomes more evident we have to select certain value which will tell us, which is called critical value. If the sample statistics falls beyond that value, we reject the null hypothesis. If it falls within that value, critical value, we fail to reject null hypothesis. And usually, as for hypothesis testing, the significance level of 0.05 or alpha type 1 error, which is denoted as alpha of 0.05, is a good or assumed is a good indication of the rejection criteria. What that means in practical terms, basically, if we pick up the critical value on the distribution such that the 95% of the distribution is falling within critical values, and again in this case we talk about two-sided hypothesis test, and 2.5% falls below the critical value and 2.5% falls above the critical value. That would signify the significance level 0.05. And again, there are some hypothesis tests which have significance level 0.01. There are some tests 0.1, but in majority of the cases, and especially in the areas of business applications, significance level 0.05 is level of choice. And again, depending on the significance level, your type 1 error and type 1-2 error will be dependent on significance level. Okay, that's about type 1 and type 2 errors and significance level. And in the next video we are going to continue on the types of hypothesis testing. Okay, see you then.